Hi there and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have issue 83 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. Now in this one we're adding some more structure to the promenade deck that we've been building. That's this piece here. We're also going to add the first LEDs to this one as well. So again, this is going to light up and glow lovely. I will say this. So there's been a lot of, I'm drilling this out, I'm doing that, I'm doing that, and each to their own. It's your model, you can do what you want with it. But the word to the wise, err on the side of caution when it comes to light. Because I've mentioned this before. What you want your model to do, what I want my model to do, and I assume what most people want the model to do, is to look an accurate representation of the Titanic, as accurate as it can be. There's always going to be parts that aren't. This was different. It's always going to be the way. You drive yourself nuts trying to make it all as was. But when it comes to light and models in general, not just this one, models in general, there always seems to be this want to make it light more. And you then run the risk of it stops being a model and it becomes a lamp. This should glow. Okay, this shouldn't dazzle you. You shouldn't be able to light an entire room with this. What you want from this is a very gentle glow from the windows, because that's what it would have been. I mean, these are electrics from 1912. This wouldn't be like blaring light. And if you start banging holes in the side of this thing and adding more and more and more light to it, you're gonna get drowned out with light. Too much light can kill a model. Genuinely, too much light can kill a model to the point where you're like, okay, that's way too much. And from what I've seen so far, the glow is bang on. I think the glow is quite nice. We'll address any light bleed that comes up, but the glow from this, I think, is quite lovely so far. But that's just a word to the wise, just a bit of caution. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. We're going to get this one open, go on with the build, and we're going to have a Titanic talk at the end of this one as well. So let's get this open. Let's take a look at what we've got. Let's get this built. Okay, so here is what we get with 83. Much smaller box than the last two, but that's okay. Good things come in small packages. So there's our LED strip. We know about that. There's our wire for the LEDs. We have, let's have a look, AP screws. More AP screws. You've got a ton of AP screws in this one. What's inside the mystery bag? So this feels like it's connectors. It is. We've got, okay, so we've got some assembly to do there. I've seen those before. And then this should be, this longer bag, should be some, oh, I have no idea what that is, but I look forward to finding out. That's what we've got. So this is what comes in 83. So we have this piece here, these two wall pieces, these connectors, a ton of AP screws, an LED strip, and a wire. So let's get into it. To begin with, we're going to use this piece here, which is starboard bulkhead. That's the piece we are beginning. No, I'm not. I'm talking nonsense. Port bulkhead, that's what we're starting with. And we're going to use two of the connectors here. Now, what we're going to do is these have got lugs in them, so you can only put these on one way. So that's going to go on there like that. And then this one here is going to go ahead and go on there like so. And I'm going to fix this in with two of the AP screws. Now, don't go mad, as I've always said when it comes to screwing in plastic. You want to bite and hold. That's it. It's got a lug in it, so it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to go mental. Because if you do, all of a sudden that screw that felt tight is going to go loose because you have bore out the thread in there. You don't want to do that. There you go. So that's that piece done. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the other bulkhead. So I'm going to get that done and we'll take a look. Okay, so that's those two pieces assembled. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install them onto the promenade deck. And we're going to do that, you guessed it, AP screws. So we're going to bring our prom deck over. And our first one, let's get some focus on that. Our first one is going to pop in there like so. So this is going to go, long way around, Scott. This is going to go in there like, no, I'm talking nonsense. I was right the first time, I think. What am I doing? Hold on. Completely wrong section of the ship. Don't know what I was thinking there. Right, so this one is going to fit in like so. Push that one down. And then our second one is going to fit in here like so. Now what we're going to do is using 4 of the AP screws, we're going to screw this one into place. 2 in the port, 2 in the starboard side. So let's get these screwed in. again, because the amount of lugs and pins that are holding this in place, you don't need to go mad with screwing this thing down. You know, it's just don't, because it's very easy to bugger the plastic on a model. It's nigh on impossible to put it back. There are ways you can do it, but just avoid doing it in the first place by not going nuts. These aren't going to go anywhere, because essentially all these screws are really doing is holding it in place. They're working as anchors. So that's all you need them to do. So do not over tighten your screws, man. It's one of the things I get asked the most. I've took the head off this screw, or I've took that, and it's, oh, Christ. Just, you know, take your time, man, and do not over tighten anything. That's it. So that's those two in. Yep. Okay, so that is how we are now looking at the bulkheads. Good, nice, right? Right, we are now moving on to the parapet. Okay, so taking our parapet piece, we are going to take our connectors. Now again, the lugs are only going to let you put these on one way, so you know where they fit. That's the right way, because the lugs won't let you put one any other way. So that's that one. It's that one there. That one there. And then one more. That one's in. Now what we're going to do is, again, we're going to hold these in place with AP screws. So let's get this first one in. One. So that's a whole bag of AP screws going already. Let's get bag 2 open. Number 2. Number 3. And finally, number 4. And then we're going to attach this as well to the prom deck. And then all we need to do is put our LED strip in. So that's that one done. Let's bring up the prom deck that's fitted. Okay, so working on this section of prom deck, we're going to take our parapet that we've just built, and that is going to slot, oh, snug in there. That's good. Snug's good. Right, so that's there, and now we're going to hold this one in place with 4 more AP screws. A lot of screws in this one, but thankfully, plastic to plastic, nice and easy. Metal screws, my wrist might be complaining around about now. That's 1. 2. 3. And then 1 more, and we'll take a look. And then 4. Right, let's flip this one over, take a look at it. So this is how we're now looking on that parapet. Looks nice, right? Starting to seal it up. It's looking good. It's looking really good. So that's our assembly for this one. Now all we need to do is put an LED strip in, and that is this one in the books. So this is the section we're working on for LED here, where we've just put the parapet in. Now, again, you will have this section here, which will tell you which way round your LED strip is going to go. It's going to go that way around, because that corner piece has got to fit in. So what we're going to do, so I'll show you how I do this, and just gently, come on. Oh, that one's not going without a fight. That one seems, oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Right, so that one's in. Now, they're asking us not to plug the wire in, but if, like me, later on you're racking your brain thinking what bloody wire went in there, you can refer back to this video. Z. So wire Z went in there. Z. So eventually this will wire to a second one over here, which will wire to the main ship. But yeah, if you're ever looking back thinking, what bloody wire was it? Z. You'll thank me for that one day. Might be a year from now, but one day you'll thank me. Let's have a chat. Complete, nice and easy. But again, it's made an impact. So we've got our lighting in place. We've got our first structure appearing on here. It's looking great. We're going to be working on this section next. Sort of give this some stability. It's nice, right? I'm really enjoying doing something different, I think is what it is. So even though I mean, it's another deck. It's wildly different to everything we've done before. We're working on a separate piece. We're not working on decks we've already built. We're not working on a hull we've already built. It's new. It's a new section of the ship. That's exciting. If you just stick around with the build instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe, helps the channel massively. If you are sticking around for our Titanic talk, we are talking about conditions in third class. Now, the reason why we're talking about conditions in third class is because Hollywood would have you believe, in every interpretation they've ever done of the Titanic, is that third class was like terrible, right? Like steerage, it was awful. That's what you were, your steerage passenger. It was terrible. It was the dregs. It was awful down there. When that just really wasn't true. It wasn't anywhere near as luxurious as first class. It wasn't anywhere near as luxurious as second class. But was it bad? No, not really. Because Titanic was luxury throughout. It's what it was. So the third class dining area was actually quite nice. And the third class cabins weren't bad. I mean, they weren't great by any means, but compared to other vessels, Titanic's third class was the equivalent of a lot of other vessels' second class. And here's a kind of mock-up of what a third class cabin would have looked like. Look like this. It's not bad. I mean, under the circumstances, under the conditions, it wasn't bad. And the other thing you'll remember is Titanic had never sailed before. So the thing would have still smelt of paint. It's not like thousands and thousands of people have stayed in those cabins. You still would have been able to smell paint. You still would have, all of those sheets were fresh. No one had ever used them. So these were fresh beds, new pillows. Everything was new. Everything was shiny and new. Nothing was grimy. Nothing was dirty. It was quite nice. And in a lot of the letters that people received from anyone that was in third class, a lot of them said the food's great. The food's really good. So this is, I don't know where this myth comes from. I think they like the idea of they were the second class, well, the third class. They were pushed down and stay out of the way, you scum. Wasn't like that. It just wasn't. Naturally, they weren't allowed. They didn't have free reign of the ship, and they did. This is true. The third class had 2 bathtubs to share between all of them, which does seem excessive. But again, this is a time when daily baths weren't really a thing. They just weren't. So the people that were in the third class probably weren't bathing every day anyway. So you're going to be on the water for like a week. They'd be like, oh yeah, if I can get 1 bath, great. So that's what was going on. So when you hear they only had 2 baths, it's quite common. It's quite common. I mean, this is a time when steel baths in front of a fire filled with water was still the norm, shared by an entire family. So third class wasn't bad by any means. The other one that we've discussed this before on the channel was the myth that third class were locked in and weren't given a chance at the lifeboats. That's just not true. They were locked in, but they weren't locked in so they couldn't get to lifeboats. They were always locked in, and the reason why is because of port authorities. That was the law at the time. Because a lot of the people in third class were going to emigrate, whereas the people in second and first typically were vacationers. Not all of them. I mean, some in second class were certainly emigrating, some in third class were, first class were, but typically these were people that were emigrating or on business. Third class was almost exclusively people that were emigrating. So the rule was when it stopped at port, third class were the last off. So first and second class would come off as normal, and then the ship would move on. They would then let them out for immigration purposes, for customs purposes. They'd have to go through customs, and that's how it was done. So nobody could just sort of like sneak off the ship and sneak into America, or sneak off the ship and sneak into England. So those gates were always locked. Granted, it took way too long to open them on the night of the sink-in, but that is, again, part of what, I mean, if you're aware of the Milgram experiment, people wait for orders. And they do strange things under, it was my job, it was my order. Same things. They were waiting to be told, yes, you can open it, because if you opened it when you weren't told you lost your job. So a lot of these guys were like, no, until this I can open it, I'm not opening the gate. So that's what happened there. They were not, as Hollywood would have you believe, lock them all in so all the rich people can get off first. That's not what happened. It really isn't. But that is all for this week's Titanic, well, today's Titanic story. We will be back incredibly soon with issue 84 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. We'll be doing kind of more of the same. It's very similar build to what we did in the last one, but larger. And windows are back. Those of you who don't love your windows, sorry man, the windows are back, but not loads of them. So we haven't got to go like window mental like we've done in some of the earlier issues. We've got some windows to do, but I'm not a fan of the windows. I won't miss that. Put it this way, once this one's built, I won't be like, I miss doing those little windows. I won't. That's all from me. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. Helps us massively. You can hit the notification bell. You'll get a notification every single time one of these videos comes up. You can contact us at buildingtheboys@outlook.com with any questions you've had, any advice you need, anything at all. If you are working on something, I've made a modification to this, do you want to see it? I'd love to see it. Send it through to us. Love seeing your work, I really do. And just like hearing from all of you, we will respond to everybody that emails us. That is all from me in a world where you can be anything at all. Just be nice. And I do mean that more than ever. Just be nice, man. It's easy to be a dick. It's quite hard to be nice, but just do it, man. If you can make someone smile today, make them smile. I will see you very, very soon for issue 84 of the Titanic. Thanks for stopping by.